Hey, let me know if you like this board theme. In this video, I just want to test or try the Lucchini Gambit against any random opponent on Lichess. Let's hope you guys are going to have fun. By the way, if you want to watch my full tutorial on the Lucchini Gambit, simply watch the video that has popped up in the card above. You can also head over to my channel and just check the most recent upload. The Lucchini Gambit happens in the Giuoco Piano against the d3 Italian, which is this. So it is in this position where you want to play pawn to f5, which introduces the Lucchini Gambit, and you're going to see what I intend to do to my opponents. So keep watching. Right, here we go. So my opponent just played pawn to e4. I hope we are going to see the Lucchini Gambit on the board. So e5, knight f3, attacking my pawn as usual, knight c6. So my prayer at this stage is to see the move pawn to d3 after I play bishop c5. This is the Giuoco Piano, or the Giuoco Piano. Let's see what my opponent is going to do. If pawn to c3, I'm going to be sad. I haven't yet covered this in a tutorial video this year. So the Lucchini Gambit works in the d3 Italian. Great, and that's what my opponent just played, pawn to d3. And now it is time to surprise them with the move pawn to f5. Pawn to f5. Okay, so my opponent just took something that I never expected to see. In fact, I didn't cover this move. I didn't cover this move in today's tutorial video, which I published earlier. Nevertheless, you can just go d5. I think the reason why I did not cover this move is because, I mean, it just looks so simple if you think about it. Bishop b5, you can just go bishop d7 if you want. Oh, knight e7. The problem with knight e7 is that there is knight takes e5, if I'm not mistaken. But still, even if I play bishop d7, I'm still going to lose my e5 pawn. I remember looking at something in the lines of knight e7. Let me try this. And here I can just castle short, because I'll just take that f pawn if I'm not mistaken. So I need to start with bc. This comes with an attack on the bishop, and then get back this pawn, get back my pawn. But you know what? I'm thinking of experimenting with something here. Bishop takes f2 looks attractive. How about if I try this? Let's see how this is going to work. Let's go bishop takes f2. This is check. I'm just playing by intuition. I'm not really sure of what is going to happen. But I guess I can just take with my rook here. Or probably with my knight. This will come with tempo if you think about it. Because I have this little discovery. I might win the free queen. So I played knight takes f5 and my opponent just played king g8. And now if I want, I can go queen h4 now, right? Yeah, like queen h4 is a very great move. I want to checkmate my opponent somehow. Also attacking their bishop. See what my opponent did. Just playing very fast. I think the right move here was supposed to be something like maybe pawn to c3, preventing the move queen d4. But my opponent being a 1526 rated player, took no time to think and analyze what is happening on the board, which is why I'm going to punish them by giving a check with my queen on d5. There's nothing else they can do here. I have a discovery, so this is completely winning. And this should be a great lesson to most of you guys. Always be patient whenever you're playing chess. You ain't rushing nowhere, man. No need to rush. Especially if you're not aware of a particular opening. If you don't know a particular opening very well, you just need to take your time, calculate through the moves until you find something better on the board. So here I see knight g3. This will be double check, and the only move for white is king e1, I guess. After which I can checkmate them like this. Pop. This is checkmate. Not a good game, and I can't take credit for this, but at least my opponent helped me to fill the gap where I left. Yep, time for analysis. I forgot to cover this e takes f5 line in my tutorial video that I published a few hours ago. So whenever you come across this move, you can simply go d5. So d5 attacks the bishop, the light squared bishop. After bishop b5, here I almost lost my mind. I was thinking of playing bishop d7, which was going to be a long-term positional mistake. Why? Because white was just going to take and take my other pawn. The other logical move here is queen d6, if you think about it. In fact, I would play this. I don't know why I didn't play this move. With queen d6, you are just allowing white to take your knight, and then you take back with your b pawn, ensuring that your e pawn is well protected. If you think about it, nothing that white can do. Let's say they play queen e2, trying to put some unnecessary pressure. Now this is when you can simply go knight e7, if I'm not mistaken. Also taking is reasonable, but there's no need to exchange queens if you don't have to. Anyway, queen takes e5, you can castle short. Remember, in the Lucchini Gambit, quick development is key. Of course, you're going to be down a pawn even after bishop takes f5, which is reasonable here. But you see, point is you are playing a gambit, and all you need to do is to be quick in development. So this is how you fight that e takes f5 move. And let's see what else you can do. You can't play queen f6 here due to knight c3. If you think about it, you will have so many weaknesses. So maybe the other try would be knight f6. I think so. What happens if white takes here on e5 with their knight? You just castle short. Of course, there's going to be knight takes. But what happens after queen e8 check? Maybe queen e2 and bc. White will need to be extra careful. Bishop takes f5. So in all of these lines, you're going to capture on f5 successfully, but be rest assured that you're going to continue playing this game while being down a pawn. And in this position, Stockfish favors black because of the space advantage and rapid development. Once again, after pawn to f5 and e takes f5, maybe instead of rushing with the move pawn to d5, which is the main line, you can just play knight f6 for the time being. Knight f6 also stops pawn to g4 if you think about it. If they try to pin your knight like that, now this is when it makes sense to go pawn to d5. By the way, if bishop takes, you just take back with your g-pawn. In the Lucchini Gambit, it's fine to castle long once the dust settles. You're going to use that semi-open file to attack on the king side. If you think about it, the light squared bishop is still under attack. They play bishop b5, pinning the knight. But now this is when you can take back like that. And you might remain with this pawn structure, but Stockfish actually likes this a lot as it favors black. So never be afraid to play like this when you're playing the Lucchini Gambit. Sometimes you can just start with knight f6. Even if they pin your knight, go pawn to d5, and after this you just take with your g pawn. If they just play bishop b5 after, you play d5, just castle short. Once again, never be afraid of this capture. You're just going to fix your pawn structure. It looks like white is always going to take your e pawn, but that's the idea. In fact, in this position, knight takes e5 is even dangerous for white due to our bishop d4 move, double attacking the knight and the b2 pawn, also the rook indirectly. If white tries knight takes c6, as if they are double attacking the queen and the bishop, you simply have queen e8 check and you're going to win a piece. I'm now changing my mind. I think just for safety purposes, consider playing knight f6 if white takes on f5. Of course, the main line is pawn to d5, and after bishop b5, you simply go knight e7 like what I played in the game. And if knight takes e5, you just castle short, telling your opponent that, hey, I'm ahead in development and you're just busy capturing my useless pieces and pawns. Point is, after knight takes, you can just take back with your b pawn. That comes with an attack. If d4, by the way, you can just play bishop d6. If bishop a4, like what my opponent played in the game, now you can simply take back on f5, either with your knight or your light squad bishop like that. But anyway, here I spotted a simple tactic due to my advanced tactical skills that I have built over the years. I saw bishop takes f2 immediately because I sensed something here after knight takes f5. At first, I wanted to take with a rook, but I saw that rook takes f5 check was just going to be a 1-0 move. I don't know. I was also considering to play bishop takes, but once again, maybe after king g1, this was going to be too slow, although very much playable, which is why I chose the move knight takes f5, which also paved the way for my queen, if you think about it. And this is what happened in the game. I was expecting that my opponent was going to play pawn to c3, maybe stopping queen d4 check. After this, what I was planning to do, you won't believe it guys, was to play the unbelievable knight d4 attack. All these things were at the back of my mind when I was busy giving commentary. If pawn takes, I was just going to checkmate my opponent in one like that. And if bishop e3 was played, just an example, maybe I was going to follow it up with bishop g4 and that. If pawn to g3, perhaps queen h3 was going to help, holding on to my light squad bishop and also attacking the queen. Nothing can stop this from happening. In fact, this was going to be a mate, maybe knight f3 check and all that. By the way, after queen h4, if pawn to g3 was played, I was still going to play queen d4 check and say after king g2, knight h4 check. These are simple tactics, you guys, that you are supposed to know by now. gf, queen f2, checkmate. So what am I saying? Once again, if your opponent takes on f5, it's up to you to go pawn to d5 and sacrifice your e pawn, castle short, and continue playing like a normal human being. Or go knight f6, not sacrificing any pawn. One pawn was enough, right? And I showed you what to do after bishop g5. You just go d5 and consider castling short. If white doesn't play bishop g5 here, and let's say they just castle short, you can still go pawn to d5. Even d6 works. If bishop b5, you just take that pawn or castle short. And obviously you are going to see this knight takes e5 move from time to time. Sometimes they start with bishop takes, after you take back, that's when they do this. But whenever this happens, feel free to castle short. At the end of the day, you are just going to be ahead in development. Look at all of your minor pieces out while white's pieces are still sleeping at the back. Knight takes can easily be met with queen e8, and white is going to be in real trouble if you think about it. d4, you will play bishop g6 if you want, or maybe bishop g4, because if pawn to f3, you first of all take the knight, and if this, you go queen takes, c5 check, king h1 and bishop f5. Look at the space advantage that you have. So this is why Stockfish thinks black will always do better in the Lucchini Gambit if white takes on f5 back on move 5. Let me know what you think about the game I just played and this part that I forgot to include in my first tutorial video on the Lucchini Gambit. Now go and check out 3 of my new courses on my website KaspaChess.com that I highly recommend you get right now. The newly updated Semi-Slav defense against d4, the knight c6 Nimzowitsch defense, and the mighty e5 Paris defense, which is my best selling course till this date. Chess is a school on its own, and you will just need to show some efforts to unlock some secrets that content creators don't show on YouTube. And that's how you support this channel, by the way.